Hello everyone, and welcome to the second part of my tutorial where we are going for this maquette effect. If you want to see the first part where we model this scene, I will drop the link in the description. Now let's start blendering. I'll drag this to the right, press T and then 0 for our camera view. And what I want to do now is press Z and go into render mode, or you can activate your render mode from here, and also deselect the overlay. So now in here I'm gonna take the shaded editor and I'll put the world. Let's press Shift A and add a sky texture and plug it in our background. Now it's way too bright. We want to change some settings in our render properties. So we want to I'll activate the denoise for our render. You can activate it in viewport if you want. I don't really use it in the viewport. Then I'll add for the volume, I'll add 4 units because I'm gonna use volume. For now I'm not gonna clamp the direct light or the indirect light, I'm fine with it. And then go to color management and select filmic, and it's already better, and I'll go for medium high contrast. And I think this is all we want to select for now. And we can select transparent for our background, even though it's not going to be visible in here. So now let's take care of some settings for the sun, because we kind of want to achieve this diffuse and not so sharp lighting for our scene. So we achieve that by increasing the size of the sun, and I'm just going to start with 20. And let's just decrease the strength of the sun to 0.5, and we have this type of shadows. Maybe 0.05 is too much, so let's 0.1, maybe it's better. I think for now it is alright for now. Okay, I kind of want the light to come from the left side, maybe, even though it looks quite nice this way, but yeah, let's try let's say 125. It's nice. It's like we have a lamp here somewhere and we have the light coming from this angle, from the left angle, but it's still, but I feel that the shadows are too long, because if we look in this one, you kind of, in real world you would have a light bulb on the ceiling, so that's why you would get this small shadows. So let's change the angle of the sun to, let's say 45, and it's already better. But now we should drop the intensity of the sun, and I'll leave it like that for now. I'm happy with it. I want to add another sky texture. I'm just gonna press Shift D to duplicate this one. I'm gonna put this one here. And I'm doing that because I want to double the shadow, and it is going to look cooler. So let's make these shadows more diffused. So what, let's say 35, lower the angle a bit. I'm going to put the angle to 40, and I will rotate to minus 120, let's say, and I will 4.8 for intensity. So now if we press Ctrl Shift and right mouse and drag, it will add node wrangler is going to add a mix node, and we're gonna have our both shadows. If you want to see this more, we can lower this one, but I think it's alright like this. See, you get the second shadow. Okay, so now that I'm happy with the overall light, we're gonna start by adding some materials. I will start by making the material for the so-called table, and you might want to activate the overlay so you see what you select. So I'm just gonna select the table, go in the shader, go into objects, and we want to create a new material. So just for the purposes of this exercise, I am just gonna make this color like this, and I'm just gonna, maybe it's too much, something like this, and go Ctrl C, go into object property, viewport display, and I'll paste it here. So now if we're in this mode, or in the viewport shading, we know we are applying materials to this one, but we are keeping it on render now. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick another angle just to see better the texture that we are creating. So I'll start by, I want to make like a wood texture, so I'm just gonna press Shift A, add a noise texture. I will press Ctrl T. If you're using node wrangler, pressing Ctrl T with this node selected is going to add up texture coordinates and mapping by himself. So we're going to choose object. We want to Ctrl Shift click to see the texture, and then we want to scale it on x6.5. I think it's fine. Drop the scale to maybe 3, maybe half of this, 15. Up the detail to maximum for better detail. Roughness 65, and let's distort it to 1. So now if we look at it, kind of has this wood texture. If you want to see it better, press Shift A, color ramp, and now we can up it like this, and I think it's quite visible, right? Okay, so let's move this on a side, and then we're gonna use what we've done here as a bump map. So we need to add a bump, connect the normal, drag the color to height, and then because I want maybe less noise, I'm just gonna Control click this one, Control Shift click this one. We can see the noises. It has a lot of noise here, and I think I'm just curious what would happen if we add an invert, and yeah, we can have it each way. Let's drop this to 0.2 maybe. If we press M, it's gonna mute that node, and we're gonna see a different Let's decrease this distance to 0.3. It looks alright to me. If we go into here, I mean, it looks, let's just have this 0.3 maybe to have more wood. Maybe it's too much. We're gonna see. So if you press Alt and drag this node, you're gonna get him out of here without actually cutting the wire. So let's press delete, and then we want to add some roughness to it. So I want to make it quite shiny. Let's see. Okay, so if we go more towards the black side, sorry, I'm gonna duplicate this, add a factor to the factor, and I will use this as our roughness and go more, come on, it's more shiny this way. And now it's definitely too shiny, but I think we need to decrease this bump. So manage, maybe something like this, let's say. We'll see in the final render if it's something we like. Okay, but for the color, I like to add more variation because I want the noise to be darker and the upper surface to be lighter. Yeah, you can see, I think it's a bit too shiny, but we'll take care of that. So let's add a RGB node, Shift D, and we want these two, Control Shift right mouse and drag to add a mix node, and then I can plug this into the base color. I looked for some timber hex value, so I think I'm gonna maybe something like this maybe, and this. So I'm gonna drag this to my right and add a value of, let's see, CAA472 for this one, and for this one I'm gonna add a hex value of 9F7F58. It's not really what I was hoping for, but we can move value and saturate it a bit and maybe make it darker. Okay, so we want for our mix to use this color map for our bump. And now you can see already we get some values. I need to desaturate these colors because they're too saturated. Maybe something like that. And for this other one I'm just going to Control C, Control V and make it darker. I think something like this. It looks okay. Let's press 0. I like it. I'm fine with it. I really like it. Okay. For our next materials, I'm gonna let's make the materials for the paper. Let's start by adding a new material. Call it paper. And now let's go into viewport mode. We want all of these materials, all of these objects to have the same material. So now if we start by adding a Voronoi texture, Control Shift click to see the map, and Control T, and then we are going to use object. We want to make the scale a bit bigger, maybe something like this, and yeah, I think it's all right now. Looks fine. Actually, it's fine like this. F1. I will use this for the bump. So let's add a bump. Add a normal in, and then as for height, I'll use this one. And we're gonna see the tip going inwards, so we want that to be inverted like this, and then let's just use a really small distance. I mean, change the color towards this. And let's decrease the distance 0.3. Maybe I should make the scale bigger, like 50 maybe, even more, maybe 70, and decrease this to 7. And it's too shiny, but as I think it looks quite alright. Let's see, maybe yeah, it's fine. Let's Control L, link material, and this should be alright. I think I'm just gonna add more roughness to it, because it looks quite leathery. So maybe 0.9 to have this feeling of paper. I'm just gonna add another subdivision to it. Okay, I'm fine with it. Let's take care of the color. So I'm gonna add a color ramp. Actually, we can add a bit of variation. Sorry. Let's just add a RGB material, and let's say let's make this color something like that, maybe something like that. So let's see, can use the value for the, oh sorry, I just scrolled up and I really like the other value. So if you want to use the same hex values as me, go on 9D9791 for the first one, and the second one would be maybe a bit darker, maybe something like this. Control Shift right mouse and drag, and then I'll use this noise for distance, and we have a darker area and a lighter area, which is fine. It's not that visible, but it adds a bit of variation to it. So let's move this back like this. I would like it's fine. Okay, I'm okay with this. Yeah, definitely the wood is too shiny, but leave it for that, like right now. We'll take care of that later on. Next, I want to make the material for the tree canopy, and the tree canopy is a bit foamy like this. Maybe this is too transparent. I think I use another type. I definitely use another type of material, but I'm gonna make this one because I like it more foamy like. So let's start modeling the material. I say tree, and let's start by adding a noise texture. Let's press Ctrl T, Ctrl Shift click, and I get this look. And I think if we go for, let's say, for scale, let's just go 15. Looks about right, in detail 15, and then 5 roughness. I think it looks okay. And I'm gonna use this for the map. Just gonna use object. Yeah. Okay. So let's make this a bump. To connect the bump in, correct the factor to the height, and we already see some. We already see something. Okay. Ah, sorry. I connected this into the alpha. Sorry. So we want the normal to normal. Okay. Let's decrease the noise. Maybe something like this. Maybe it's too much, but not bad. Let's say something. Let's leave it like 0.2 maybe. Okay, well, we'll figure it out moving on. So we want to maximize transmission for it and maybe decrease the roughness a bit, 135, to make it a bit shiny. And then what we want to do is to make this a bit transparent. So we want to add a transparent PSDF, and we want to mix it with our principal BSDF, and we got this transparency. But we want this to not cast that much shadow, to be honest. So let's add a light path and connect the shadow ray into the factor. And if we make this red, you will see the transparent shader going crazy. Okay, so okay, now you see it casts a red shadow, but I want to be white shadow. I don't know, maybe it's too much. Let's just like color shadow. Okay, so now what I want to do is add a volume scatter, and I'll put this into the volume, and I'll bump this to 5, and let's see what we have. Okay, but we want this to be white though, and I think it's fine. Yeah, I like it. It's alright. Okay. Let's now make the material for the copper. So before doing that, let's select all this and the last one. No, sorry, let's just go like this. I don't know what happens to my computer, but lately it's doing a lot of dodgy things. So select this one last, press Ctrl L and press Ctrl L, and you want to link materials, and now everything will share the same material. Every tree canopy will share the same materials, as you can see here, and they look fine. Okay, gonna. Now what we want to do, we want to create material for the tree trunk, and I want to go for the copper material. So yeah, let's do that. New material, if it's roughness, gonna make it really shiny, and go for Voronoi texture. I really like Voronoi texture. And then let's name this copper, and press Ctrl T, object, and then let's see, maybe we want to increase the scale to 15 maybe. If it's about right. And then let's draw click, add this to bump. To the height. And let's say invert. Is definitely too strong, and I'm gonna go for a 0.5 or 1 maybe. Okay, I'll leave it like 0.1 and then 1. And now I am going to change the color of my shader. And I'll go for a coppery color, maybe more towards the red, maybe something like, oh sorry, this has to go like this, and this is metallic. Okay, now it makes sense. Maybe we want to play a bit with the roughness though, so I would like to control the roughness with 5.5, and it looks fine to me. I think it's alright. Maybe we want to, let's add, for the sake of diversity, add another BSDF. We're gonna use the same bump and add a different color, maybe something like this, I don't know. And then let's use a Musgrave texture. And let's use this. Okay, so for the Musgrave, I'm just gonna go for a, let's increase the scale a bit, come on. So I'm gonna use a 16 scale. I really need a new computer, this one is killing me. Details, sorry. Let's put the detail to 16, and this will, I'll keep it to 2 and this to 0, so it's more detail like that. So now this will also be metallic, and or not, I'll just add a color ramp to be able to control it better. Maybe something like this, and by pressing Ctrl Shift Alt, and then I'm gonna take this, put it in the factor, and then into the surface, and we will get this nice effect. Maybe if we swap this around. No, I think that way was alright. Okay, I'm happy with it. Let's just, my computer is very moody today, so let's select heavy canopy. This is why I need to work organized more than I did. Okay, let's select all of them, and then the last one, select this one and press Ctrl L, then link material. Okay, I like it. And I think we've done the trees now. So now let's just focus on this should have the same material as this one. Control L, link material. Why not? And this makes sense to have the same materials as this one, because this is the material that we use to model from. But in this case I would like to add a bit of a wear and tear on the edges of this material. And yeah, I think I'm gonna add a bevel first. So maybe a small bevel. One, gonna add this, and then by holding shift I'm gonna just make a small bevel, something like this. And I will add that wear and tear on this edge. And the way that we are doing this is by creating an edge finder. Maybe I would increase this to 008. Yeah, I think this is better. So let's add a bevel node and a geometry node. What we want to do now is add a vector math node and use it as a dot product. So let's connect to normal to the lower bracket and bevel to the upper bracket, and press Ctrl Shift click and activate the render view. You kind of see a bit of a shade on the edge. So now we want to add map range to restrict the effect a bit. So we want to maybe 0.7, and we want to reverse this like this. Okay, so I think it's alright. We'll play with this later on. But now these lines, I want a bit of variation on the edges. So let's add a noise texture, and then add it to the radius, and it's definitely too much. Let me add a math node and multiply, maybe drop this to 0.2, raise the scale a bit to maybe 25, yeah, and the details 5, and we can plug in the map for the noise. It looks alright for now. Yeah. Okay, so this should be our node. First one. Then let's duplicate this, take the lighter color, just Control C, Control V, and make it lighter, almost to the white, something like this. So we want now to Control Shift click and drag, and then we want to add the same map here, and then let's take this and press Ctrl J, then tap, and we gonna call this Edge Finder. Alright, and let's use this as a mask. Maybe we want to control some of this, but for now it's alright. We just want to control the output. So as you see, this is the wrong way around, so we want to swap this, and we get this edge and tear over here. Maybe it's too much, we'll see. Okay, but I like it. The same one here. Okay, now we're gonna model the insides of our model. This plexiglass material acts more or less like glass material. It has more roughness and more color, but it's more or less like a glass. So we can start by adding a new material, call it plexiglass, and then let's just apply the solidify modifier, and then let's just add a bevel modifier and maybe something 0.01, maybe something like this. It has to be a bit bigger than the cardboard, so I think this should be fine. Let's add a bit of a bluish interesting color to it. I'm gonna activate the viewport render if my computer wants to do it, and let's pick a base color, something like maybe something like this. Yeah, I like this one. Let's say it's going to have a transmission of 1, which is very nice, and we want to add a transparent PSDF. Let's copy this here to here, and a light path, because I want to mix these two together. And now let's swap this around and get this blue shadow and also the blue plexiglass. Maybe I looked up the IR for the plexiglass. It's this website pixelandpoly.com, and I took it 1.5, so we can change that 1.5 IOR Let's change this to yeah, I like it this way better. Okay, so now we have our transparent, we have our, maybe it needs to be a bit more transparent, so I will add another mix shader over here, and I'm going to mix now our transparent with our result over here, and then put it here, and then we're gonna swap this around, and then I will, maybe it should be more transparent though. Let's make this a bit lighter. No, I don't like it this way. I like it more this way. Well, let's 0.3. Should be fine. I'm gonna amp the light a bit, but we need some wear and tear on the edges also. So what we can do is copy this group that we made, Ctrl C and Ctrl V here, and then we can add an emission shader, and then we can mix these two together and put this group as a factor. Let's dim this down a bit to 0.8 maybe, and let's use something from this color and make it maybe something like this. I still don't like it that much, so maybe something like this is better. And let's Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and make it a bit darker and a bit saturated. Yes, I think this is what we want. Okay, I like the way it's shown now. So I'll do the red one, which is basically the same plexiglass, but it's just on red. So let's just copy everything. I'm just copying like this. Control C, select the lower part, new, Control V, move it here, delete this one, and then add this to here, and let's call it plexiglass red. Okay, so now we want to, first of all, I think we have too much wear and tear on this edge, so if we change this to 0.102, actually I think it's better for this one. It's gonna change everything. Okay, I'm so stupid, sorry. So let's go back a bit. I'm happy that I'm doing these mistakes because now you can see it happen. So what's happening now is if you press tab to get out of the group, there are 3 objects that are sharing the same group, node group. So I need to press on this, and now it will make it unique for this one. So now if I press tab to go inside of the object and go here and press 0.02, it's going to affect only this object. So let's go for 0.4, and I'm happy with it. Let's get out of here, and then let's change this to a red, maybe something like this, and I'll copy this color here and here, and this one will be more or less here, and then let's dim this down a bit like this. I like it. Okay, great. So we forgot to include this little friend in our Control L link material. Okay, so let's copy this one and go here, Control C, and then go here. Sorry. Go here, viewport display, and Control V. And now we have a color for this one. Let's go here and press Control C and Control V, and then okay with this. Okay, so now what we want to do is let's do the materials for this cutter over here, and we can quickly copy the plexiglass materials to these ones. So let's start by doing the material for this. So we can select this one, go closer, go on render, and let's see. How should we go about it? I mean, I think we don't need to overcomplicate it. Since we make a simple maybe something like this, add a bit more shine to it, add a noise for bump, Control T, object, let's scale it, maybe 0.3 like this. It was actually right, and let's go for 15. No, actually 5 was alright, and roughness 0.65, and distortion let's say 2, and then add a bump material, add the factor into the height, the normal into the normal, move this back a bit and go for this one, and this is way too much, maybe something like this, and 0.5, and I really don't like this color, so I would probably go for something like this. Let's say this should be nah, it's way too much, so let's go 4.15 and go factor to roughness. And let's press Ctrl B to render on this region, and then Ctrl Alt B to get out of the region. Okay, let's model this bit now. So this is metallic. Let's keep the roughness as it is. Already it looks alright. So maybe we can control a bit the roughness, so we can add a noise texture. Control Shift click, Control T, object, and let's add a color ramp first. Let's make it really contrasty so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so if we increase this a lot, add a lot of detail, and maybe it's too much, so we want this polish like texture, but let's go with this. And it's like 0.2 maybe. It's too much, 0.5, and go to let's leave it like this. Put this into the roughness, and then yes, so we have this. If we go more to the dark, this bit here will be too polished, the inside. So see, so I feel like we almost have to go towards this a bit. Okay, I think we're onto something. And now we want to create the rubber grip for this. Rubber. This is just, let's do black. It's not gonna be full black. It's very rough. Maybe not that rough. Maybe let's put an 85. Okay. We can add an edge inter here also in the end. And maybe we want to add a bit of a noise. Control T, Shift, let's add the object to the vector and go for 50. I think it's about right. Or maybe 70, even better. And then add a bump node, pull the factor into the height, and then the bump into the normal, and we get this. Okay, so now it's clearly too big, the noise, so we can go 0.2 maybe, and 0.5, and maybe if we, no, I don't like it. Just a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna save. I'm fine with it. If we press Ctrl, no, we don't have that node anymore. Select this so we can grab it from the red one actually. So let's Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Remember, we need to make it unique for this node here. So let's select this one and mix and add this in. Let's go towards this bit. Let's swap this together, and I think we can go more like this. Okay, I like it. And then we want to create the blade, and the blade is quite a simple object to model. I'm just call it blade. Press numpad dot or delete if you want to focus on your material if you can't find it. So we want to make this metallic. As roughness, let's just make it maybe something like 0.2. We can add a bit of noise and add some smudge to it, but I think it's for what we want, it's alright. So maybe 35. Okay, I'll leave it like this. The next material that we want to let's quickly add a material for the people, even though I feel like it's alright. No, let's just leave them like this, it's fine. Let's copy a material for this text, go Ctrl L, link material, and then take this one and go Ctrl L, link material. So I've made this map really fast in Affinity Photo for the cover of the eraser. So let's apply this on. Let's add a new material. Control T. I'll just drag and drop here. Like this. And the reason that it's shown like this is obviously because it's not unwrapped. So what you can do is either press let's just say press U and cube project and get this result. So now if we go and open up the UV editor, we get this. So I think I want to press here and Smart UV project and say okay. Yeah, I'll start with this. I'm just gonna do a quick unwrap. I'm not gonna waste too much time on it. I just want it to be something like this, maybe SY, something like this, and then I can take this part somewhere here. I'm not really bothered with the way that these are going to be. I just want to have a really quick effect. And let's do this also, and yeah, something like this should be fine for what we need now. Okay, so now if we go and sorry, it will be here and RZ 180. RZ. Okay, now it's better. So now if we look at it, we're gonna properly see. Okay, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I think it's enough for what we need. Let's just add a bit of more interesting materials to this, to the eraser. So let's go up, say eraser. I want to add some smudge or residue from erasing on this side, so I'm going to start by adding a gradient texture. Press Ctrl T and let's visualize this. So what we need, I think we need to go -50 on the z-axis, and it looks fine so far, and maybe just move it a bit on X, maybe something like this. Yeah, I think it looks alright. And let's add a bit of variety. I'm gonna add a noise texture, mix these two together, and now we can see it adds a bit of a variety to our smudge. But to be more visible, let's just add a color ramp, drop it here, and then I'll just go something like this. Okay, so let's go back to our Alright, so I want to, it doesn't look bad, but I think we can get a better result. Let's just go and hold on this. Let me add a bump. Play the color to the height and then this to the normal, and maybe go 0.1, then 0.5, and I think we should it looks fine like this. Okay, so let's add another principal basic, make this dark, really dark, and mix these two together, and then take this as a factor, and on the other side, give me a second. One. Okay. And maybe we should swap this one and go back to our sorry. I'm quite happy when I'm doing these mistakes. This way you can see sometimes it's just you just have to try. So what we need here is basically use the object from the texture coordinates and then go back to our X and move it back, and then just go here. Let's have a look what's happening. This is fine like this, so this takes precedent. This is fine. It should be based on this. So if we're going for 215, then 0.35, and I want this. Okay, so this will be 90. Let's move this a bit, maybe something like this. Yeah, I think it's fine. So now we get sort of an effect that we want, and I think it's fine. We actually have another material for this area over here. I think it would be cool to try and achieve a leather feel, like you'd have leather material over here. So the way I would do that, and I'll just put plate. Now let's add a voronoi texture, starting off, Control Shift click to preview this node, and let's go with distance to edge. Now we have something here. Maybe let's just change the scale to 25, maybe 35. 35 should be right. And let's try and press Ctrl T and use the object. Now we can see this more like this. Okay, maybe the scale is too small though. Maybe let's just stick to 25 now. 10. 10 looks fine. I'd rather have it bigger, to be honest. Okay, let's add another one. Make this scale maybe, so leave this to, maybe leave that to 10 and make this 20, and then let's mix them together. And let's just add the same vector to this one. Now we get a bit of variety, but if we want to push it even more, what we can do now is just mix noise node. So let's add a noise texture, drop it here, and this other mix. Let's just go and where is it? Oh god, mix color node, and then take the color into A, and then take the object into B, and then move this into the vector, and we have something here. Let's change the detail to 12. Maybe something like this. We'll see how it goes, because I'm not sure I really want this. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much. Let's see. Maybe something like this. We'll see. Okay, let's leave it like that for now, and let's try to add maybe here. I'm just gonna use here. Let's use a noise, maybe. Sorry. Let's use a Musgrave the texture here. Let's go for a Musgrave texture and try change this. Preview this one. Let's go and press 20. Up the detail a bit, maybe 10. And 15. Dimension. No, I don't know. I don't really like it. Let's see. Maybe something like this. Or let's just leave it like this. It's fine. So now we got this areas here. Maybe it's too much. Doesn't look that bad. I like it because I like to have like it's a bit used. So we can use this for the bump. So let's drop this in, and I'll make this let bump map. Put this into the height, maybe something like this, and then get this into the normal, and let's make it don't like that. Let's see dark. It's definitely too much bump, but let's drop it down to 1 and just try to close up on an area. Just let's see how it shows. It's not bad. Maybe we can make it 1.5 maybe. I don't like it. 1.2. I think we that is okay. Let's gonna play with this afterward. Let's just try and point 1, let it back to point 1, and let's try and play a bit with the roughness. So if we move this away now, let's just add a noise texture, and add the color ramp, so we can make this nice texture I'm gonna use another texture coordinate because clearly this is gonna have a different scale, different rotation and everything depending on what we're gonna have here. But let's just make this one. Let's up the details to 15 maybe, and then let's up the roughness 75. So I guess some of this. Let's make this maybe something like this, but I don't want it to be that black. Maybe something like this. We'll give it a try. Just let's put this in the roughness, cut this off, click on this one. It's definitely too much, maybe. I'm not sure this is what I want. Maybe we can have the scale of it. Let's see. Maybe it's too much. Let's put the 2.5. I want to have this area as rough. Maybe it's too much. Okay, I think this is what I was going for. So if we go back to our, let's just add a bit of bevel, sorry, to this. Yeah, this is something I like, and I think we are close to the end of our tutorial. Let's see. Yes, I'm happy with it. Let's just go to the settings that we want. Okay, with this one, we can up this if you want, and I think we can no, let's come back to this. I want to up this to 8, maybe I'll put this to 12. Let's just make it to 6 maybe, and volume to 8, transparent to 8, refractive, I'll put this to 1. Okay. Okay with this resolution for the purposes of just having an example. Using data, diffuse. I'm not gonna change anything there. Well, you can up this if you want to. It's totally up to you. So let's just go time to maybe this for this video. Okay, so this is what we ended up with, and if your result is not exactly like mine, is because in the compositor I'm using a glare. So I hope you like this tutorial and you learned something from it, and if so, please share, like and subscribe. I will upload a tutorial each week, and as I have told you before, they are going to be all related to architecture. So see you on the next one.